Happy Friday. My name is Megan Quillen, and I am one of the digital integration specialists for Horry County Schools. And today we are going to be looking at Google Classroom, and specifically we're going to focus on grading and giving students feedback in Google Classroom. So the first thing I'm going to show you is today's agenda is located here in Google Classroom, and I'll be referring back to this, and this will also stay here for you to go back to with some notes and some tips for this session. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am right here in the teacher mode. So you can see this is the classroom that is set up, and there's an assignment that is posted here. So I'm going to be going back and forth from the student's view and the teacher's view so that you can see a little bit of the difference here. So just a few basic things about Google Classroom, and if you need more information, there actually is another session linked on our calendar from yesterday that Megan Cox did, and you can learn a little bit more about Google Classroom and about how to post assignments. So just looking at this main page here, we have our class stream, so anything that I post as the teacher, it's going to live here for you. So this agenda was actually posted from the student's view, but it's here for you. And then the assignment that we're going to be looking at today is posted right here underneath. You also have the Students tab. So if you were to open this up in your classroom, all the students that you have in your class are going to live on this part of your screen. And then you have your About section as well. So going back to the stream, that's going to be mainly where we focus today, because that is where you as the teacher will find the assignments that your students have submitted. We are going to be going out to Google Drive as well, to where your Google Classroom folder lives, and I'll show you that here in a moment. So the first thing that I'm going to do is in order to view a student's assignment, you're going to want to look where it says right here, the assignment was created today, and it shows you right now from the teacher's view that 2 students have done the assignment, but 1 student has not. So in order to see which students have completed the assignments and which one you are still waiting on, the first thing you're going to want to do is actually click on the assignment. So you can click on it, and you can see right now that Lindsay and Megan have done their assignment and Bo has not. So this is just like a quick view for you to be able to see if they've done it and what they have done. If you want to go back, you can see right now we're in the student's work view. So if you wanted to go back to your main stream of your Google Classroom, you just use this arrow right here to go back. Then if you want to go back into the assignment to begin grading it or giving any feedback, you just go back and you click on the name of the assignment, and that will take you here. So right now, you can see there are two students who have returned their assignment. So if you wanted to specifically see, let's see what Lindsay did, you would click on the student's name, and it's going to bring you to this screen that actually shows her assignment. It gives you her name. And it also, right now it's showing you from the teacher's view that it still has no grade. So there's a couple of different ways that you can open up this assignment and grade it. You can certainly just do it from this screen here. So if you open up the assignment from here, it's going to take you into a new window. It opened up another tab here up on the top of my screen, and it's opened it up so that I can see the big view of what the student has turned in. You can see that if you had a class of like 20 or 30 students that you're trying to do this for, this could take some time because it not only left the screen that you were at, but it took you into a new window. You can certainly grade this way, but there is a quicker way to do it, which I'm going to show you here in a moment. So let's say you look at this student, Lindsay Reynolds' assignment, and you see what it is that she's done. You can make comments on this by using this function right here. You open this up and you can give the students comments. So I'm just going to comment here so that when I return this back to the student, they'll be able to see this. Okay, and then in order for it to post, you just choose comment there. And you can do this all throughout the Google document. So if you go right here, okay. Another thing you can do is you can do these editing as well. So you can suggesting edits. You can also make it so that they can view it this way, or you can do it on the main screen in the grading version, which I'll show you here in a moment. Okay, so Right now, you see I'm still opened in the second tab that it opened up when I clicked on Lindsay's assignment. So I'm going to go back to the actual assignment by clicking on the other tab that was open. And after looking at her assignment, now I'm ready to grade it. So you have a couple different options on how you want to do that. You can just certainly go over here and enter in the grade. You can see up at the top that Google Classroom defaults to making it each assignment 100 points. You have some options with that if you'd like. If you drop down this menu, you can see the options are 1, 20, 50, or 100, and you can actually, any numerical value, whole numbers, you can actually add there. It does not allow you to add a letter grade, and it does not allow you to do like 0.5. It has to be a whole number, and it has to be a number. You also have this option to leave it ungraded as well. So if there was something that you were doing that doesn't necessarily need a grade, and you still want to return the assignment to the student, you can choose that ungrade option as well. So for now, I'm just going to leave this as 100 points, and I'm just going to put it in here and give Lindsay 100 points. Now you see it says it's saved, but it says not returned right here. This is really important because if you don't return an assignment to the student, they're not able to, first of all, edit or make any changes that you've asked them to make, but they're also not able to see any private comments that you may want to add to the student. So what I'm going to do is, after seeing Lindsay's work, I'm really proud of her, and I'm going to add a private comment to the student down here. So I'm going to say, "Great job, Lindsay." And in order for her to be able to see this comment, not only do I have to go right here and hit and click post, but I have to return this assignment to this student. So I'm going to go right up here, and I'm going to click return for her. Once I've clicked return, then the student can open up her assignment again. If I've asked her to make any changes, she can also make those changes. And she's also able to see any comment that I've made for her. Okay. Return. And so when you do click to return an assignment, you see Google Classroom asks you, it says students will be notified and can check any grade you've left. So it kind of reminds you of what you're doing for your student when you return it. So I'm going to go ahead and click return here. Okay, so that's one way that you can go in and look at what your students have submitted and to see what it is that grade, however you wanted to grade it. You can see that if you had like 20 to 30 students listed over here, that would take quite a bit of time to click on each individual assignment and go to the opened window, look at their work, and go back to the screen to grade. So there's a quicker way to do it if you're dealing with multiple students and looking at assignments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this tab I had open and close it out. I'm going to go, and I'm actually going to open a new tab in my browser. I'm using Safari right now, so if you're using a similar browser or something different, it may look a little different than yours. But I'm going to go to my Google Drive. And what I'm doing is I'm going to find the classroom folder that goes along with this class that you have joined. So as a teacher, when you create a Google Classroom, you're aware that it creates a folder inside of your Google Drive called Classroom. So you see that is right here, and I'm going to click on that. Then once you're in your classroom, you have to find the actual Google class that you've created, the folder for that. So the name of this class that we're in right now is Google Classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. So Google Classroom for After School Trainings. And the assignment that I created that I'm trying to grade right now is called Day 1 Technology Memes. And so this is going to be the folder that I'm going to want to be in to see all my students' work. So when I open this up, you can see that there are 3 assignments here. There's 2 students who have completed it, and then remember we have that 1 student who has not completed it. So what you can do is I'm going to actually split screen, so you can just take your browser, and I'm going to make this one smaller so I can have them side by side here. So then I have my Google Drive here as well. And what we're going to be using is something called preview mode. Preview mode allows you to look at the Google document but not have to actually open it up all the way. So going to look here, go back to this main screen. So in order to grade or look at your students' work, remember the first step from the stream here is to locate the assignment. So this was the assignment that I'm going to go back into here. And you can see that from before, I still have Lindsay Reynolds, and she has been graded, but I still have one student here, Megan Quillen, that I need to grade her work. So if you're over here in your Google Drive, one thing that you can do is you can go into preview mode. Preview mode is just this little eye symbol. So you can find it up at the top of your screen here, right here at the top of your drive, or you can right click on the assignment and just choose preview. So you see it's going to open up in a screen like this. And then you can use this little arrow just to go to the next student. So if you had 20, let's say you had 20 students that you're grading at the same time, then you can just keep going through. You see up at the top the name of the assignment and the student's name is next to it. So this first screen is Bo's assignment that actually he has not turned in yet. Then we have Lindsay Reynolds, and then we have Megan Quillen's. But this is a really quick and easy way to look at the assignment as opposed to clicking on each individual student and it opening up into a new window. So now you can see at the top that the assignment that I'm viewing is the one, is Megan Quillen's. You can see her name there. And so I'm going to look at this assignment. I'm looking to see if the student did their meme, if they did their work. Once I like or I'm ready to grade this assignment, I can go back right over here to my other window and I have it open for me. So I can quickly add a grade here. And I also can see that if I click on the student, I can see that the student actually wrote me a comment here. So she said, "I hope you like my work, Miss Cox. Can we do this again tomorrow?" So this is a great way for you to communicate with students if they have questions about an assignment that maybe they didn't want to share in front of the whole class. This is a great way for students to ask questions and make comments about the assignment. So I'm going to respond back to her. And then in order for her to see this response, you have to make sure that you choose post here. Okay. So one thing after I choose post, in order for the student to be able to see that I've graded her work and that she got a 100 and that I've commented back, I have to return her assignment once again. So in order to return it, you can go back to where we are on this main screen. And you can choose, let's see, student work. I can choose all. So at this point, I'm selected all the students, and you can say to return it. So if I choose Lindsay and me, obviously we're not going to go down here to the Bo because this is under the not done. So I'm going to make sure that both Lindsay and Megan have their assignments returned. So I'm going to choose return up here. Once again, once you click return, Google Classroom is going to ask you one more time just to remind you, just so that you can make sure you're aware that you are returning this assignment to your student. So it says students will be notified and can check any grade that you've left. So I'll go ahead and choose return. So that is a quick way to go in and look at your student's assignment by utilizing this second browser that I opened up and using the preview mode in your Google Drive. You can certainly do it the other way as well, where you just click on each student. Just some options for you there. So let's say you graded an assignment and now that you go back and you look at the assignment, you actually want to change the grade. That could happen. So in order to change a grade, you would do it still from this main menu, and I'm actually going to go back and make this big again. So you're going to do it from this screen. So if I wanted to change, let's say, Lindsay's grade, all you have to do is click where you originally entered in your 100, and you would just change whatever it is. So maybe after looking closer and after grading the rest of the students, I realized that Lindsay missed a part. And so instead of giving her 100, I'm gonna drop her down to a 90. And instead of Megan Quillen having a 100, I'm going to change her grade to an 85. You can see that it automatically down here now says not returned. So you have to return it again if you want the students to be able to see that updated grade. So after you've checked them and you've changed the grade the way that you wanted it to be, you can go right here and you can say return. Once you see return, it says update to grades. Students will be notified that their grade has changed, and it shows you specifically which students will be notified. So both Megan and Lindsay will get a notification that their grade has changed. It shows the student, you can see here, what their grade was previously and what their grade is now. So more than likely, it'll be working the other way around, where you may have assigned a student like an 85 or a 90, and they go in and they make the changes that you've suggested in the private comments, or maybe even the editing that you've done on their actual Google document assignment. Once they've resubmitted their work to you, then you as a teacher can go back and regrade their work. So once I know that these are the two students that I wanted to receive these updated grades, I'm going to go ahead and hit return. And then you can see here it has updated their grade for them. So something to note, I've talked a little bit about giving private comments to students, but let's say you wanted to maybe give the whole class a message about this assignment. Maybe they all did great and it's just one blanket statement that you want to make to your students about this assignment. If you see up at the top here, I'm in where it says student work. So that's going to be specifically to each individual student. If I go right here to instructions, this allows you to send a message to your whole class about this assignment. So maybe after grading this assignment, I wanted to let my class know that they did a great job with this assignment and we'll be doing this more in the future. So I'll go ahead and add that here. So when I'm ready for all students to see this message, I'll go ahead and choose post. And that just kind of serves as kind of like instructions for the students. So that could be used for anything. Maybe after you going in and grading an assignment, you realize that you forgot to maybe give a step that might have helped your students with this work. So you can always go back here and just know that all of your students will see this message, because it's kind of like an instruction that you're adding to the assignment. So when you go back here, now you can still see that there's still 2 not done and 1 finished. So let's say after you have located your students' assignments, you have spent some time grading the assignment, and now you've also given some private comments and you've returned their assignment. One thing that teachers sometimes want to do are your grades that you have entered into Google Classroom to be able to export them. So depending on if you're adding them to PowerSchool or another grading system that you're using, what you'll want to do here is you'll go back to the original assignment that you want to grab the grades from. So I'm going to go click right back here on Day 1 Technology Memes. And there's a settings wheel up here in the upper right hand corner of this little wheel. So if you drop that down, you have 2 assignments here. I can either download the assignments, the grades for just this assignment, or I can download all grades in my Google Classroom. So I'm just going to click right here where it says download assignment grades. And what it's going to do is it's going to open up into a spreadsheet for you to be able to download. So I'm going to here, I'm going to do download. So you can see it went right here for me to download. I'm going to open it up. And what it's done is it has opened it up into an Excel spreadsheet for me. So what I have here is I have a student's first name, their last name. It collects their email address for me, and it chooses their grade and the status of their assignment and any comments that were created by the teacher. So you can see Bo Gorseski is still not done with the assignment, so he has no comments there. Lindsay Reynolds, and it has her grade. It shows that it has been returned, and it shows the comment that I made as the teacher, and same with Megan Quillen. So then you can do whatever it is you do with your spreadsheets if you wanted to export those grades. I'm just going to close out of this. So that is the main main things with grading student work in Google Classroom, please remember that students are actually going to be using, depending on what grade level they're in, if they're on elementary or middle school, they'll be using more than likely the iPad to do these assignments. If they are in high school, they will be using a web browser very similar to what I showed you today. So the important thing from the students' end is just to remind them to turn in the assignment. So they have to actually choose turn in order for you to be able to see it as the teacher. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just really quickly from the student view what that would look like. So I'm going to, since my assignment was returned to me as the teacher, I'm going to go in as the student here and show you what that would look like. Okay. So as a student in this class, you can see, I can see that my teacher at 1:47 posted this assignment. I can also see that my teacher made a comment on my assignment and actually instructions to the whole class here as well. I can see that this assignment was returned to me and I'm able to open it. So I'm going to open it up. And I can see my grade right here from the student, and I can also see that there was one class comment. So if I wanted to see what my assignment now looks like after my teacher graded it, I would just click on my assignment as the student, and it's just going to open it up to what I submitted. If my teacher made any comments or left any suggestions, I would be able to see it from the screen as well. If there was something that my teacher asked me to change, I can go, it opens me into my assignment for me to do that. Since the teacher returned it, that allows me as the student to now edit it. So I'm just going to go down to my original assignment here, TGIF. Okay, and you can see that it says all changes were saved. So then as the student, I could come down here and hit resubmit and then turn in. So if the teacher did ask me to make any changes, then that is how the student would do that. So going back to this mainstream here, just a couple of reminders that your students you can see right here in the left-hand corner, they'll be reminded several times that they have assignments due. So this assignment was due, and then it also gives me this time right here where I can see it as well. So that is a mini lesson on how to give students grades and feedback in Google Classroom. Please refer back to this agenda if you have any questions or if you're trying to walk yourself through these steps. And if you have any questions, my team and I are always available to help. So thank you so very much for your time, and I look forward to working with you in the future.